computer. I think we're recording. Yay, here we go. All right, guys, welcome to this beautiful mastermind. This is where I think it's all coming together for us. We have gone through our fears. We've gone through the ways to integrate our shadow. We've gone through exploring our medicine. Who should we serve? Who do we want to serve? And who's going to be profitable in that serving, right? Who's going to actually have money to afford what we are offering? And we've gone through now the beauty of the codes and how you have the potential to weave in the Anahata codes, not only into the back end to support you, but in the front end. And so today is going to be all about masterminding those pieces of the puzzle together. I really want us to come out of our shells with each other, start using our voices, and perhaps me start using mine less, right? I think that was one of the signs that I was being given, is that sometimes I just need to ease off, back off, and let other people shine as well. So we're going to do that today, and I'm so delighted that you guys have all joined live. That means a lot to me. I do want to keep it real, raw, and interactive. If you have advice for someone, speak up. Now is the time. If you have questions that you still want to get out thus far, now is the time, because we are transitioning into a pivotal portion of the cycle with cycle 4, and that is building your actual program. So today we need to really hone in on, finally, what is our medicine for the moment? Who do we serve? What problem do we solve? And we're going to help each other do that. If you're still stuck, I want to get you to a place today where you go, you know what? I could actually do a free talk on that and build a 2 or 3 class series, whether in person or online, and actually do this thing. Okay, you've got to start somewhere. Or perhaps you're like, yes, I'm ready to go, and now I want to explore some different ways to really use the codes with it. I want to brainstorm that with each other. Hopefully you came ready to discuss who you've decided to commit to, your medicine for the moment. And hopefully you have been inspired this week by at least one way. Hopefully a few of you have a few ways to activate the Anahata codes that we haven't discussed yet during those 3 exercises that we did last week. So who would like to go first? And actually, we'll just go down the line. I would like to ask you who you serve and the problem you solve. So we're not going to get bogged down in the details. I'm a transformation catalyst who helps those and these people to do this for this reason. I just want to know who you serve, the problem you solve. As very potent and distilled as you can make it. Who I serve is heartpreneurs. The problem I solve is business lack. And then, of course, I could go on about the ways that I do that through the Anahata codes and through Vishuddha Mastery, on and on and on and on. But that's not what I'm not explaining. I'm just saying who I serve and the problem that I solve. So heartpreneurs and lack. And Sarah, you just happen to be the first one. Hello, my dear.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. So those I serve are the overwhelmed nurturers, and the problem is going to help them solve is dealing with their anxiety and physical pain caused by not taking care of themselves. And did you want us to tell you how we're going to seed it? Or wait?
Nope. Yep. Just wait on that. So that's good. Physical pain and overwhelm. So I think you guys, let's go like this or this. Not as, no, that's not a good idea, but we don't have a clear picture. Actually, let's go like this. Let's go like this if we see you, if we see that. And let's go like, I still can't quite see that. And I can see that. I definitely can see that. Does everyone else see that? I can see it. I know who these people are. Very good. All right, my dear, I'm going to mute you. We're going to get back in a second about brainstorming some cool ways that potentially we could reach that group. Let's go to Glenda. Hi.
Hi. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I have the same voice problem as you. But just getting over a little cold that was delivered through my grandkids. But that was a nice gift from them.
Yeah.
So I serve the empowered women who are fed up, and really, I want to say I help them by healing them from the inside out to stop those unhealthy eating habits.
Yes. Okay. Very good. I see that. Does everyone else see that? I see that. I can see those people. I'm excited about you with that. Like, for sure, these codes are going to make, and I really hope that all of you are considering infusing the codes. If you don't, it's okay, but I will be heartbroken because there's so much stuff I think you can do with these codes in addition to whatever you're planning. All right, so very good. Chris, let's go to Chris. Who do you help and the problem you solve?
I am helping type A women like myself who are at a level and an age where we're ready to move forward with the next phase of service. I know that was long. That wasn't what you wanted to hear. So to tighten that up, my group is what I was calling stuck women who are looking for purpose transformation to catapult them into the next level of what they're being called to do, kind of unpeeling layers of debris.
Okay.
And that was one of 4 categories.
Yeah, I bet it was hard.
I'm still struggling with that.
Yeah, well, you know what? Medicine for the moment, medicine for the moment, medicine for the moment. And there's no wasted time, because as you ease your way into how this all works, you're going to go, oh my gosh, I can go back and do this with this group. It's kind of like focusing in just so that you can get some flow and revenue coming, so that you can trust the process, so that you can understand how it works. And then the sky's the limit. This is just phase 1 of this vast network of work that you're going to do. So easy peasy. This is it for now. Let me think. It's a little like this for me, because I get who this is, but I want to be able to say it more precisely to them. The other day, I heard someone say something really awesome. They said, if you can write a day in the life of your client, then you defined them. I think you could write a day in the life of your client.
I could do that.
But
yes.
How could you title that page, right? What are some of the titles you'd come up with? Because I know
things that, okay.
No, go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you off. There's a delay. Some of the areas that I had, again, I've got 4 categories that I was, like you said, medicine for the moment, and I just picked one.
Yeah.
One of the other categories that I was so focused on was, again, coming from my personal experience, my mess is my medicine, was caregiver fatigue, which was something I had struggled with quite a bit myself and overcome. However, I felt like that might still be a little too fresh in my personal history, where I'm still coming out of that myself, and I didn't know if I wanted to then take on other people's burdens as well, right? To kind of help them with that, although maybe later. So I think I could write the day in the life. On the spot, I would say that the day in the life is nurturers, in the same sense that these are caregivers. It's usually women who have transmitted or transmuted through a huge amount of trauma, whether family related or whatnot, and have come through the ravine, through the valley of the shadow of death, and have now kind of wanted to, wait a minute, I'm going to back up, and now I'm going to start helping other people with their issues and supporting them while they're very aware and very awakened to the fact that they know how to kind of go forward. Not people, right? I'm not describing this well.
No,
I still need some help.
This is all good. Let's help her, guys. Does anyone have any advice they want to offer Chris she's been, you guys, as you know, well, you may not know, she's a mother, she's a world traveler with her business. She is the brand manager of a huge brand called ABC Mouse, if you've heard of it. I mean, if you have kids, you've heard of it. So she's got a lot going on, and she's been here, there, and everywhere and going, I need to catch up. And I'm like, you know what, you're fine. And so she's kind of like on the trail of getting to where we were last week, basically. And so let's help her through our knowing, flesh out perhaps her niche. Sarah's is very similar with the caregiver fatigue, but I agree, Chris,
Right.
I don't think that you are at a place where you would be happy helping those people. It may cause more frustration than anything, because you see where you want them to go, but they're not there. And so you're just kind of like, hello. So I like the first one, you know, the type A, getting to that age where you're really ready to explore your own needs. How can we help her define this in a way that's more crystallized, where we can go like this? Does anyone have any advice? Okay, I'm gonna unmute you. Actually, Kaya, I think you're unmuted.
I am.
Yeah.
That's what I just did. Yeah.
Okay, good.
So I don't have an advice in the sense of this is how to phrase who you talk to, but I believe that if you tell your story without the specific agenda of, and this is where I want to reach, if you tell your story, and maybe first thing is to write down your story and to tell it to yourself, then the women who are at the, I mean, your story means that you walked a specific path.
Mm-hmm.
And your aim, as I understood it, is to help women who are on a similar path, but you are a bit further. And if you tell your story of what happened, and then I think the women who will be drawn to the story will also be drawn to the solution. And because you walked it, to be honest, I always resonate more with people who tell a story that I can connect to, and not so much the people who come from the solution side. Mm-hmm. That's me. And if you tell your story and people will catch up, and it's like a river, and small rivers flow to it, then someone will be able to catch up on this point of the story and someone a little later on the story, but it's all your story. And some people might walk a bit parallelly on that part and some on the other part. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And you know what came to mind when I was hearing you speak? Pathfinder. I don't know if that resonates with anyone else, but it's kind of like you're going to be a pathfinder, giving these women a shortcut to where they want to be in their life, right? Instead of just
that's good, because when I've been pulling codes for a group of friends, all of whom are part of this core group, which is what I was kind of aiming for. And what we were coming up with was, because of course I'm a brand person, right? So reinventing, rebranding who you are and what you want to be going forward. And kind of you've reached people who've reached a certain milestone, whether it's so so because I'm so close to it, I was having trouble putting that into words. But you said Pathfinder, and that's a very
Pathfinder. And also I just got angel bumps with identity crisis. You're helping women who have taken care of everyone but themselves. They don't even know, you know what I'm saying? It's like they have an identity crisis. Yes. So
that's it. That's it.
As well. Yeah. Good.
My friend calls me the rebranding lady. So helping people kind of help themselves rebrand. But I didn't feel like I had to help. Yeah, thank you for helping me put that in. Ironically, when I did the Vishuddha workbook, I think I told you I wrote pages, and must have been 19 pages to tell the story. Yeah. And from that, I was able to just go, oh my gosh, here's the story. But I had too many stories. And so this is great. You're helping kind of define this one. So help me put that into words.
Awesome. I love that. Identity crisis, Pathfinder. This is going to be great. Woo! And how because we have the codes. So you're kind of going on this journey. Anyway, we could go on and on and on. Awesome.
Kelly has something she wants to share.
All right. I
love that because I think you could say like your title could be, are you ready to rebrand your life?
I love that.
Because that's what they're stuck and they want a new way.
Yes.
And that's what you offer. I love it because it's right around. So perfect.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
This is so funny. It's exactly what my friend and I were kind of working on. She's like, you're the rebranding lady. And I thought, well, how am I going to? But yes, thank you guys for resonating with that.
I love it.
Very much.
Yeah. And so this actually really, for me, makes it a lot more, oh yeah, I get it. There are so many women that are reaching an age where they have served everyone to a point where they don't have an identity. And they are now in their time looking out for the next phase. And so identity crisis, rebranding your life, Pathfinder. Boy, I'm surprised there's not a name for this, these types of women. Is there a name that we're forgetting?
Well, that's what I was having. Remember I was writing to you about they're stuck women? Because I kept trying to find, what do I call this? Are they stuck? But so I may still have to message you offline about, well, how do we still describe who they are? And I think I will do a day in the life. And then I don't mean to hog up more time because that was
well, you know what's awesome, Chris, is I also feel like you are poised to be the pioneer in this group and actually coin. That's when, you have a huge, massive market, and yet no one has said what it is yet. Holy cow.
Can I tell you something really funny? As I was pulling so many codes to do last week's documentation, what I pulled was an archetype for the pioneer and pilgrim, which is the picture was Amelia Earhart, and I was like, that's it. And I ended up going such a deep dive in the codes. It was like a rabbit hole of epic proportions. And I put it online. I came up with the name for my company, which was going to be Harmonious Whole. And the rabbit hole codes that I went through it was crazy. But Pioneer was the top. Look, so I think we've got all the. Thank you for validating it. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Wow, this is going to be
I'll
really
exciting. Put that more into words.
Yeah, and then something else that's going to help all of you is to go do some research on the problem in blogs. Like go online and look up what are people saying about this problem, because you're going to get a lot more PC words and things people use and language that they speak, right? If you know you're serving them, like that's where you should stop listening to what you think they need and go actually see what they need, right? How are they talking about this? What are they calling it? There could be some kind of movement that's relatively underground that has already defined this group of women, and that you can just then leverage and really integrate into what you have to offer. So I'm super excited about this for you.
Thank you.
It's going to be so awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, so let us see. Kelly, you are next. Who do you serve and the problem you solve?
So I serve women who have suffered a personal loss, and I turn their grief into joy and happiness.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I can definitely, can everyone see this? I see it. And I just got major energetic confirmation of just how beautiful that's going to be. So many people waiting for your medicine, so much healing which is going to occur. And I could even see you training people to do what you do for others, being the head of this huge movement. So really exciting, really exciting. So thank you for working on this. I want to ask, are you going to make Anahata codes visible on the front end at all, or is it all going to be on the back?
No, it's going to be in the front. So I got to get on my CACP stuff.
Okay, cool.
Put that in here somewhere. Yes, I want to be. It's going to be on the front and the back. It's going to be everywhere.
I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, that makes me so happy.
And after, I have to just share real quick, after our call from last week, I've been like sending, because we know we just had these wildfires here in my area. So I've been connecting with my heart as I drive along the freeways, because those are all the grids in the earth, and sending all of the energy that the Ignatia, the Aconite, and those two that we pulled last week. And I had pulled black jasper for that too. So sending lots of healing to my area as I drive along in my car.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Very cool, guys. I hope you can feel, which is why my voice was muted partially, the expansiveness of what's happening in our group as we seriously say, censor me if you get offended easily. Enough. We're like, I don't really care about the fear that looks real. We're gonna freaking do this thing. I mean, that's where I'm at. And I have really just taken off all these jackets of fear. And I feel like my voice has just been like incubating, you know, just like it's basically, I can feel my body expanding and my soul expanding to where I see you guys each at the head of your own huge empire. I'm having dreams about all the stuff you guys are going to do. And I feel like my voice is like, okay, just, you know, let them go. Anyway, it's just really exciting. I'm really excited for all of you. Thank you so much, Kel. Gonna mute you, and I should actually try and speak less because I'm feeling my voice is, you know, starting to go back into hiding. Okay. Mia, you are next, my dear.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. So I serve men and women struggling to find aligned and balanced relationships. And I solve the issue around being in unhealthy relationships.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to partner with Katarina.
Yeah. Okay. That would be awesome. She's not visual right now, but let's unmute her and see. We may be interrupting since she's not visual. Maybe she's, I'll unmute her and see what happens. Hello? Maybe she's, we won't disturb her. Sorry. Oh, so that'll be cool. Now tell me, because this is a big, like, there's a lot of people that are in unbalanced relationships. What are you going to focus on as the first funnel? Because next week when I teach you all how to set up your funnel, where we talk about your end goal and the big prize that you're after and the transformation you want to make, we have to back it up, right, to a point where they go, oh, that's me. So where within that are you going to really focus on initially, or do you need help from us in choosing a more honed in niche within that group of people, which is huge, which is needed?
Mm-hmm. I definitely need help with that.
Okay.
One of the groups that I'm already developing a class for happens to be a widows group. So both men and women. And I'm finding that this group is really, you know, it's interesting because they've lost obviously a dear one. But as I've been talking to them over probably the past 8 weeks, there's a common thread where some of them have held on to these relationships that they've lost, yet they were in very unhealthy relationships with their spouse or their loved one. And they're holding on to the, you know, almost the victimhood or the attention from their loss. Mm-hmm. And so that's one of the groups that I'm going to be meeting with in about 4 weeks. So.
Wow. Okay, good. Yeah. So guys, just to kind of reiterate the fact that once you start building this movement, you have all the time in the world to ask what people want within your niche and hone in on a specific facet of it and decide, do I want to build out, do I enjoy working with these people? Is it profitable? Do I want to build a program for them? And so through kind of the exercises that will go next week when we have the big end, this is the goal, you know, this is the $2,500 package that I'm hoping to sell, we can back off and taper into the facets of the small, initial portal arrival, which is your free talk. So you could actually develop, because I know you're capable of it, 3 free talks, Vishuddha talks, which I'm going to teach you how to do. And I'm going to give you the template for it and everything, so that you're going to be able to go, okay, I'm going to plug in the pain points and who I speak to, get them in the door, talk about my story, tell them about what I have to offer, and whichever class fills up first, that's what I'm focused on first, totally fine too. So I just want to reiterate that even though we are choosing our medicine for the moment for beginning next week, that is just an ever-evolving thing. And I think that'll be cool, that you're going to be working with them just to see, do you like to work with that type of person? You may find, oh man, this is just too much for me. I'm not into, these poor, it doesn't make me fulfilled to be around all this pain and grief and, martyrdom and all of that. Maybe, you never know. But the point is, you're going to be able to decide that. Any other areas? I know at one point you were contemplating the twin flame when we were having communicating.
Right.
You were like, twin flame. How's that on your radar? Is that still a possibility?
Yep. That's another area. Since I can talk that medicine very well at this point. And so that is definitely another area. And since I've been a certified counselor for many years, I also am interested in, real unhealthy relationships where people, should not be in those relationships. So there's several avenues, and they all really do funnel under relationships.
Yeah, and what's very cool is something that I have come to the real inner workings of lately, and that is your end goal can be your end goal, and when you back up, you have different niches that you serve simultaneously. Some of you may have seen the email that I sent out this morning called, Do We All Have PTSD? Because it has nothing on the surface to do with Grid for Gaia, but it has everything to do with Grid for Gaia. As I presented the first class, I realized, holy crap, this is like such a pivotal piece of information for anyone who's suffered PTSD. And the more I got to thinking about it, I'm like, but we've all suffered PTSD. And then I was like, you know what, I'm going to just write an email and see who else I can pull through the funnel that would value this and that could transform their entire life. So, you may not even be aware of all the ways that you can get your medicine out there. It'll become more apparent. So you've got a lot of stuff to choose from. And I think that's really indicative of the magnitude of what you have to offer. So I'm excited. All of the above, I could see. Just depends on what your heart's delight is, what fulfills you, and then what the market is saying they want. So really excited for you.
And I'm finding as I go through the codes are kind of directing that as well, because I find, as when I pulled the codes last week, I found some commonalities in the codes themselves, which kind of drives which way that, I want to do. I want to, have a master class first. So.
Yes. Very cool. It's so, isn't it crazy, guys? I mean, it's really nuts. I will never get used to it. I'm always like, you are kidding me. And I'll tell my mom something, I'll say, oh, this was happening and I pulled a code and can you believe it? And she's like, yeah, I can believe it. I'm like, no, can you believe it? I don't ever get used to it because it's just so cool. So awesome.
And I will say most of the codes that I am pulling are definitely twin flames. So, okay. But I don't know if that's because I'm just living it, so intensely.
Yes. Yeah. And guys, this is great to really consider again with when you ask people. I was finding a trend in the bonus that people chose of the 28 people. So 28 people ended up registering for Grid for Gaia. And out of the 28, I gave them all the bonus because I'll teach you later. I give everyone the bonus anyway, even if I pretend that it's only for, certain people. Because why not? But you've got to have that hook to where they're going, oh my gosh, I got to jump on this, right? anyway, so asking people, okay, which segment of the Joy Shop do you want? They got to choose between health, purpose, relationships, or abundance. And there were trends in who grid workers are and if they chose which of those 4 categories. And so the most chosen were relationships and purpose, which is really indicative of the mindset of a grid worker, which gives me more information on who are my ideal clients for this type of work. These are people who are focused on their purpose and focused on relationships. Interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So pretty cool stuff.
So maybe you, Chris, and I should do one together.
Absolutely. We are all going to be working together intimately, and I'm really, really excited about it. Oh my gosh, there's my love. Hello, Roberta. I'm so glad you're here. I love your haircut. It's great. And you know what? So thank you, Mia. We're going to move on to Roberta because I can see you, and also you're next in my little feed. So here we go. Hi, darling. Oh no, I can't hear you. We can't hear you. Let's see.
Well, let me see what we're doing here.
Yes, we got it. Okay.
All right. Okay. Am I there?
You are here. So who do you serve and what is the problem you solve with your medicine for now?
I serve those who are tired of being where they've been, who are ready to get over themselves, get out of their way, and empower themselves through healing both internal and external relationships.
Internal and external relationship. Okay. I can see like this. Is there, and guys, help me out here. Is there a name for this? So one word that I'm hearing is conflict, right? Because it's conflicting. It's like your internal doesn't match your external. There's conflicting.
Well, yes, and also those who are just tired of being where they've been. You know, they're ready to acknowledge themselves as being empowered people who have the power to change their lives through changing their focus.
Yeah.
And through healing their
So you were breaking up.
Okay.
But no, try again, because now we can hear you.
Okay. It's with working with people who are just basically tired of being where they've been.
Yeah.
Who are ready to empower themselves and who acknowledge that they have the power to heal themselves through their relationships, both internally and externally. And by relationships, I mean more than just man-woman relationship.
Yeah.
I mean relationships with everything in their life.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I had to come up with.
Excited. Keep going.
Go ahead.
No, it's okay.
So I had come up originally a long time ago with the thought that everything is relationship and relationship is everything. But I don't know if that's probably just too broad. I'm having a really hard time condensing that whole concept into something that could be part of a.
Yeah. So try this on. As you were speaking, I was getting this information. And I'm not going to be offended if you don't use any of it or if you use all of it. So I'm getting the vision of an author, and the ink is like the relationship, right? So this is about closing the chapter and writing your new, you know what I mean, book of relationships, of life. So you're closing a chapter, you're the author of your life. Relationship is everything, you know, with a pen or something, with ink. And it's kind of like just becoming more empowered to co-create your vast interweb of relationships, and that it is everything because you are the author of your life. I don't know if that helps you at all, but I was just feeling like, you know, closing that chapter and becoming the author of your life. Anyway.
I like it.
Something to do.
Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. Fits in really well. Like.
And then Mia has something to say.
Go ahead.
I love that,
Okay, Mia.
Roberta, actually. One of the things that came to me when you were talking was, it's about the whole self-concept of you have to love yourself and you have to have inner joy, peace, and harmony within before you can reflect that.
Hello, everyone.
And it's the same as relationships. You really have to have that relationship with yourself, that internal, authentic self-love and self-acceptance and worthiness in order to even not only just reflect that on the outside, but also give that to another person authentically. But I love that. Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm also really excited, guys, that all of you all are hovering around kind of overlapping the theme of relationships too, because a lot of you are, almost all of you. And I think that that also is really indicative of the work that we have to do on the planet and how we are all interconnected and how relationships are what co-create our reality. And I think, you know, the Anahata codes perfectly resolve a lot of those things from the inside out and then outwards in. It's just really exciting to see that that's a theme. There was someone that was trying to say hello. It might be, unmute yourself if you can. Someone was trying to say hello, and I was like, mute, but now I don't remember. Sorry if I cut someone off. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to mute you, Mia, and we are going to, who's next? Because I think Sarah dropped out and came back in, which is good. I'm glad you're back. It readjusted the order, and I don't want to miss anyone. I think Sybil's next in the queue. If she's, oh, I can unmute her. Okay. Hey, Sybil, are you there?
I'm here. Okay, hang on a minute. Okay. Oh.
Hello.
Okay, so I don't leave my camera open to the world. I keep it closed up.
Yeah.
So that's why you guys have never seen me. I had a piece of black tape over it, and I didn't realize that I had black tape over it. I didn't know you couldn't see me. So anyway, okay, I moved that. Now you guys can see me. Hi.
Hi.
So I have two questions to answer.
Yeah.
Who do you serve, and what problem do you solve?
Yes.
So who I serve is kind of in line with what everybody else is saying. I serve women who are in transition. Mm-hmm. Most of the women that I serve have children who are in school or moving out of the home. Okay. And they're ready to find what blocks them and move into whatever's next.
Okay.
So I serve women who are in transition to what's next.
Okay. Okay.
And the problem that I solve is eliminating the waste. Finding the core that stops you and clearing it away.
Wow, that is
and the word that
stuff.
I use. So the you ask what would the title for a page of the day in the life look like, and it would be how to replace your non-supporting beliefs.
All right. So
and my question to people is, what's paining? I'm sorry.
What's your question?
My question when I have to talk to people is, what's paining you?
Okay. All right. So I think you were on to something with the how to replace your non-supportive, what did you call it?
Beliefs.
Beliefs. However, when you say it like that, it becomes way too broad of a subject that could apply to anyone. And also what happens is there's some education that has to occur, because if someone doesn't know what a non-supportive belief is, they've immediately tuned you out. Not that everyone doesn't know what that is. Still, there's a whole group of people that don't even want to entertain the thought that they have non-supportive beliefs. So they're tuning you out. So I loved how you were saying illuminating the waste. So people, that's more sexy. People are like wanting to be lean and be efficient and all of those things. So I would encourage you to lean towards the solution of what you're going to give them versus the pain in this case, because sometimes there's a lot of defensiveness that goes on if it is victimized beliefs or anything that could lead to, I was the one who did it wrong. And we don't want that. So we have to treat it in a little bit of a different way. This is also any topic that is empowering. You've got to be aware of, if you are focused on the pain and they're not ready to hear it, they're going to just perceive you as blaming them, and they're going to be like, whatever, I'm not even going to listen to you. So sometimes it's better to give them the keys to their control, which is what they want, empowerment, versus pointing out that they may have something to do with their situation. Okay, just a little side note. So I love that you are going to show them how to replace their non-supportive beliefs, but I'm not sure I would title any type of free workshop with that. For sure, you would add it to your course, and it could be like one of the big modules is all about that. But let's get more focused, I think, on the positive, empowering aspects, because there's a lot of sexy stuff coming through with the eliminating waste and getting to the core of everything, optimizing your energy. Anyone else have anything they want to say about that? Okay. How was that, Sybil? Do you have any feedback for me or questions or?
Yes, that helps to redirect my thought process. Because what I see is the pain that people need support with. And so redirect my focus to how to empower them to move past the pain as the opening part of the conversation rather than the pain. Because the people who show up in my space are blaming themselves for everything.
Yeah.
Or they're not accepting any responsibility and everything is someone else's fault.
Yes.
So those, yes. Maybe that's the way everybody is, but that's the two people who show up in my space.
Oh, it is.
And sometimes it's the same person.
Yeah. Gotcha. No, I mean, it's true. It was a huge lesson this year for me in how to appease who you're speaking to by choosing how they want to be spoken to, having nothing to do, it's the same thing. You're saying the same thing, but you're just not triggering a lot of their junk along the way. So we're going to get into this a lot more when we go into the art of, actually, I don't remember what I call it. Sorry, guys. I think it's, no, I can't remember, but cycle 5, when we talk about how to make the sale, essentially. If anyone wants to tell me what I call it, that would be helpful, but I don't have it in front of me. but yeah, you know, there's an art to it. Go ahead there, Mia.
So I also think that, I don't know, maybe more so women than men, but we also are open to discovery. So you could also think about, you know, doing something along the lines to discover what their blockages or barriers or resistance or self-sabotaging behaviors are.
I love that. And you know what? That just made me think of, Sybil, are you going to be doing, have you chosen to do online or in person or both yet?
Both.
Okay.
I already have clients that I see in person, and I'm working on doing the online. Online is harder for me because I feel a need to touch the energy rather, I'm real tactical. So I have a feeling of a need to touch the energy as opposed to mentally getting in touch with it. The online is harder for me. So I'm working on that.
Okay. So
that's the only way, that's the way that I'm going to be expansive.
Good, good. So in digital terms, what Mia said applies to surveys, right? Discoveries, where you could use SurveyMonkey to just have this really awesome way of funneling people to you, where you're just asking them to take the survey, you know, discover your, whatever you want to call it, being gentle with the pain points, how to discover and eliminate how to discover and eliminate your energy inefficiencies or something like that, right? I don't know exactly, but along those lines where they're going to go, well, sure, I'll see what they are, or what are your energy inefficiencies? That's borderline saying they have an issue which they won't receive well. Let me think. I love illuminating.
So my teenage daughter, when I use the word "you're" to her, she says, "Wait, why do you use that word to me? You're accusing me."
Yeah.
She says, "Don't use "you're" to me."
Yeah.
So I have to be really careful about using the word "you're."
Yeah. Well, unless it's empowering, we could say, discover your energy efficiencies, right? And in fact, we're pointing out the stuff that's not efficient, you know, but we're saying, hey, discover your energy efficiencies. Yes, my darling.
So, you know, I would use how to, you know, how do you approach situations, you know, and you could also do it situationally. I don't have any examples off the top of my head, but, you know, when you're in a crowded room, you know, how do you approach this scenario? Sometimes it's less direct, it's more indirect, and they're actually able to kind of make a discovery about that. It's almost like a third person.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that. Awesome. Very good. Okay, cool. Awesome, Sybil. I think you are on to something as well, a totally unique angle of the same kind of pie that we're all into, and it's really cool. So let's see. I am going to go to Leslie. Thank you, Sybil. And it was so good to see you. All right. You are in a vehicle. Hello.
I am. I'm juggling some stuff this morning.
There you go. You know what? So that's fine.
Not live. So I am focusing on women in transition from daughter, wife, mother, and now I feel that depressive or emptiness, and then turning that into some creative force to bring into the world. So I seem to attract women that have been dabbling in energy stuff, but mainly focusing children, family, and now I feel this void but want to step into something else and not quite sure what that is or how that looks.
Yeah. I'm not sure how that looks either, but while you were speaking, I just really got the powerful visual of filling the void, right? Because these people are depressed, they're feeling empty, and you're going to give them a way to actually fill that void, which is powerful. So transitioning from, you said, motherhood?
Yeah, like from being a daughter, a wife, a mother, and then all of a sudden, you know, you turn that corner where all the kids are gone and there's just that empty, lonely,
Yeah.
Still,
So,
you know,
and it's like empty nesters almost. So when you have an empty nest, you have to fill it. So it's like getting more eggs in your nest, but not really.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I can definitely see there's a huge need for that. And some really creative ways we can brainstorm how to get them into that funnel. Does anyone have any sparks of inspiration for Leslie? All right, so let me just hear you speak about these types of people a little bit more. No, it really does. It helps just jog some imagery and stuff like that that could actually paint the picture really well. Did you hear what I said?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's why. I know I was gonna say, go ahead and talk about these people some more. Talk about them. So who are these women?
Well, kind of, I'm describing myself in the last couple months. It's like, you know, I've always been busy. I've always been dabbling in different things. I've been trying to create this business on the side. I've been, you know, a single parent. So it's not like I'm lonely, and still I have a lot going on, but all of a sudden that baby left the nest, and there was a panic. I mean, there was like, oh my goodness, now I have the time, so no more excuses. And then all the fears came up of, well, you know, what I created to be the reasons why not moving forward are now not there. So how do I reconnect with this creativity that I have to bring out into the world, you know, and what's my next phase to, you know, now nurture myself, but also be of service to others, not just, you know, immediate family.
Yes.
And fill that.
You know, you could have a webinar that just is how to reconnect with you and what you want, ... while servicing others or something like that. Servicing others. Yeah, and then I think something with a mirror would be good. You know, posing sort of, when you look in the mirror, have you lost touch with your own needs and desires? And I'm not talking as the name of the workshop. I'm just talking about, you know, do you finally have time to breathe and actually consider what it is you want? When you look in the mirror, are you confused with, you know, what it is you want? We're getting somewhere. I feel like it's close.
Yeah.
I think
it's like,
the whole empty nest and filling it with eggs is kind of cute for the target that you're going to be in with younger types of nurturers. I'm getting that feeling that it's not going to be the older crowd that you're going to be, you know, it's not the end phase of what am I doing? It's like the, holy cow, I'm ready to breathe after having, you know, kids and or whatever it was. And now I'm like going, oh shoot, I'm mid-30s and now it's time for my life to kind of begin. Let me think about it. I think you should pull some codes for sure. And also go see what other people are saying, right? Go to the blogs where people are complaining about this issue and see if anything sparks your imagination on how you could really reach them with the answers that they're seeking. And go ahead, Mia.
Okay.
So I completely agree with you, Anahata. And I think there's another component because I talked to, I live in the villages, so many times, newly retired people are here as well. So I hear this a lot, and it's important for them to also become a part of a new community. So they've lived this whole community, this school community, this child community, this parent community, and now they're really seeking another whole community. So, that's something else to kind of think about.
Yeah, and if you want to keep going with the silly visual with birds, it's kind of like finding your new flock. Not really, but you know what I'm saying? Anyway, getting a little ridiculous here. So, okay, good. So you have, you're on the verge. You're on the verge. I think you're kind of like this. I think if you could breathe some more specifics on how old these people are, it would benefit you, because again, it's kind of a big group of people. But if you're with the funnel being here, what's going to get them to the portal? And you've got to be very specific. So it's okay if when you first start, you only service moms whose children have just gone to kindergarten, and that's all you focus on, because you will fill workshops with that. Right? If that's what you want to go for. But that is like, oh, yep, we see these people, we see them. So really think about who you want to service first from that big goal, because we know that big goal is going to be meaty and there's going to be a lot of stuff in there. But how are you going to get them to the portal of your transformation, speaking straight to them? Who do you want to work with? I think you've got a huge market for what do they call it, MOPS? Mothers of preschool students, right? They're going into transition, so this would be like purpose for moms, or you know what I'm saying? But that type of group, there's a huge market for that. You could be very successful with that. These mothers who are sending their children off to school and they're going, what do I do with my life? I don't really have purpose. Helping them pull codes and get some directive going, woo, you could be very, very successful doing that. So,
okay, great.
All right. So let us go to, we've already seen, okay, Janice, I think she might be at work, which is okay. She's an accountant. Isn't this so fun, guys? She's like, got two personalities. It's like, Janice the accountant, and then Janice, this creative magician. I love it. Are you there, my dear?
Yeah.
Are you barely there? It's okay.
Well, and I've been dreading this moment, so.
Oh no.
Just a second. Well, because I'm kind of with you guys on this. We'll see if my boss will let me use his office.
Yeah.
So, my latest medicine is about forgiveness. So I'd like to work with men and women between 50 and 60 years old who feel the pull of regret, that either need forgiveness or want to forgive.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yeah. Great. Good job. I'm glad you came here.
Okay, done.
No, but seriously, I mean, that's clear to me. Probably one of the most clear of the group. What was your regret? What was your fear over expressing that?
just the lack of specificity that, you know, it's a huge group of people. It's not like, oh, retirees or empty nesters or whatever. But I mean, I think that as folks get a little more, you know, toward past middle age, and you're looking at, you know, your friends passing away and parents of friends and that type of thing, and you look at your own mortality and you're like, holy crap, I have these like things that I need to resolve. And you know, I've done everything I can to try to get the forgiveness of that person, and ultimately all you can do is forgive yourself. And you know, this Ho'oponopono thing is just like, oh my God, it's just so powerful. And yes, use the codes and that type of thing, but I also think that we need more of that. Like, so much is caught in the fear of not forgiving or haven't been forgiven, or, you know, anger with that, like someone, you know, wronging you, or, you know, transgressing. You know, there's transgressors and there's transgressees, and, you know, it's all perspective. And
Yeah.
Okay, enough of that.
No, and you know what? For sure,
You
I
get
think my gut reaction is to do 2 separate workshops for both. The person who's wanting forgiveness and the person who's in need of forgiveness, even though they overlap. But this is where you can build one and have a lot of material ready for the other, and then just change the angle of it a little bit, and you have a whole new program. Have you
Which one do you think
decided?
should go first?
Who you want to work with more? People who feel like they've done something wrong and they need forgiveness, or people who are just bitter and like, I can't forget? Like, who do you want to work with more, if there is a preference? Also, are you focused in on women or men?
I think both.
Both? Yeah. I think this is one of the few I just was going to say, I think this is one of the few times where it can be both and work for you just fine.
Or maybe, you know, this is the first step, and we work with women because I feel more comfortable with that. And, you know,
or
women and the moon and emotion and water.
Yeah. I'm betting the women will come first. I'm betting the women will fill up your forgive others, and the men will fill up your need forgiveness.
Yeah. I like
Interesting dynamic to think about, the feminine versus masculine on that. The action being, I need forgiveness for what I've done, and the feminine being, you know, you could play on that. There's a lot of cool stuff that you could weave into the dynamic of masculine, feminine, and how that plays into forgiveness as a topic. Yeah.
It's funny because I felt like I was always the one that was transgressed against, and I did something really bad. And wow, I have like this incredible empathy for when you like that's what it must feel to be an addict. Like, you know what's wrong, do it anyway. So, and I'm that person, you know, and like so. Whew. So Kaya, you have your hand up. Do you have something to say?
Yes. Sorry, my dear. While you speak, I'm going to go get some water. Go ahead.
Okay.
Something that struck me while you spoke was that, or every time you speak here about your niche, is that I get a very emotional reaction. So I was wondering whether there's, I mean, not necessarily to answer now and here, but just whether there is some component within you that needs resolving before you can work with that in the best way, but also good for you. Or just maybe the feedback is enough that was about wave or wall or something emotional happening, and I'm not sure where it's from. Maybe
Yeah, I only caught like a third of the words that you said. So do you mind like maybe typing it out? And I guess I'm wondering, is like the level of emotionality a put off? Is that why you're bringing that up? Or are you worried about my, because I guess I'm also trying to be emotional because as an accountant, I tend to be emotionless. So I'm trying to like breathe some life into it, but I would be interested in your thoughts on that.
Am I still cutting off?
Give it a whirl.
Test, test.
That sounds better.
Okay. Well, I can type it up for you later, and then we can maybe get into a conversation about that a bit later. It's just something that I perceived that I wanted to mirror back to you, and for you just to check whether
Okay.
there's something in it or not.
I love your care. Thank you. I would appreciate that.
Because I'm also.
Oops, you just got cut off.
Yeah. I give up.
Anahata, you're on mute now.
Oh, I was going to say,
Nope, there you go.
Don't give up. Try one more time.
Now she's muted.
She is muted.
Here, I'll mute myself.
Here we go. Are you there, Kaya?
Yes, I am. But honestly, I think I might type that up for Janice.
Okay.
And then yeah.
Okay.
It's okay. I'm trying to optimize my computer settings because apparently something is taking a lot of bandwidth. I'm trying to find out what it is.
It's probably the distance because you're all the way in Switzerland, right?
Yes.
Could be the distance. Could be. All right. Well, thank you in advance for typing that out. I want to real quick point out just a reminder that your rawness is why people will come, and to never feel like the subject isn't something you've conquered yet before you can begin doing it. Because again, by the time you have conquered it, you're in a whole different place vibrationally, and your medicine won't be as clear as it was when you were going through it. And so I love that vulnerability, the emotion, because the emotion is the energy that carries your vibration. So just making sure that we're never going to be ready, right? If we are, then we're over that and we really don't have a lot of medicine per se. We're into the next thing. So really just making sure we feel comfortable that we maybe aren't through it. Everything that by the way, everything I've ever introduced, I myself am in need of. Absolutely, 100%. It's intriguing to me because I know as I go through the flow, God is going to give me the answers that I've been asking myself. So by saying, I want to help people with this, I'm like this through point where I'm like, yeah, now I can actually transform through the help that I'm giving someone else. So that just aside, wanted to make sure that we're remembering that. Okay, let's see here. Janice, do you have anything you want to add? Is that a no? Can you hear me? Oh, sorry about that. I don't think I unmuted her. Well, I did, and then she muted herself, maybe. I can't seem to unmute her. If you're there, Janice, unmute yourself. We are going to go to, see, we spoke to Glenda, even though her screen is off. Are you there, Janice? No. Okay. So I think you have a really solid market, and I think once we start building out your program and we look at what's the end goal that you want to get to, you're going to be able to see all of these facets of who you can speak to first, and it'll just, you know, depend on which market's the biggest, who you love to be with the most, and what you want to start with. So I think you're doing just fine in that arena. Let us go to area code 530-2005. You are unmuted. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, hello, Bennett.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, good. I'm glad because I have to go to work soon, so I'm glad.
Oh. Well, hurry and tell us who you've decided as your medicine for the moment to serve, and what's the problem you resolve.
Well, it's primarily women. I wouldn't necessarily specify an age, but I would say 45 plus.
Okay.
Going on up. And when we first talked, and I mentioned the whole thing about public speaking, fear of public speaking, which is fine. It's a small part of my bigger picture.
Yeah.
But I decided to add something to my phrasing, so it would perhaps be a little more specific. So I assist women who desire to be present in their authentic divine expression, divine feminine expression, overcome their fears of public speaking.
Yes. I love it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. So it's very clear. I'm silent because I'm writing down, maybe you can't see me, I'm writing down that information. And the name of your big transformation, the book that's forthcoming eventually, what was that called again? Anatomy of, or?
No, it was called The Mechanics of Quantum Potentials. No, wait, what was it called? The Mechanics of Personal wait, darn it.
Well, we haven't recorded. Mechanics of, anyway, we have to go back.
Human quantum potentials. Yeah.
Oh no, Mechanics of Human Potential.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I had the word quantum in there or not. I don't remember. But
awesome. Okay, so this is very specific. People have been hearing about divine feminine enough to know without much education at all. So I agree that the public is ready for that. It wouldn't be too upstream if you were mentioning that. The fear of public speaking, that's where you're really going to speak clearly to people to get them to your talk. And I encourage you again to go to see where people are talking about the problem and see what they're saying, right? Because that's going to be a huge inspiration for you to go, oh my gosh, they call, this part of it yada yada, or whatever it is, because whatever they are saying is what you want to say to get them to come to your workshop, the free part, right? And then from there, they're going to go, holy cow, we're getting into Mechanics of Human Potential and Divine Feminine, and this is extraordinary. Of course I want to join this program. But, all of that has to come after they get to you, and your portal is definitely fear of public speaking sign. So go research what women between 45 and over are saying about their fears of public speaking, just to see if you can garner any language or attitudes or beliefs that they need support with overcoming. Find those pain points, and it's really going to help you craft the name of the free Vishuddha talk that you're going to do.
Okay, sounds good.
But you are on fire, and this is going to be amazing. There's lots of people that need you. I'm one of them, by the way. I've told you that before.
Cool.
Very, very cool. All right, my dear. I'm going to mute you. Have a wonderful work event if we can't catch up with you before you have to depart. So let us move into the second phase of today's masterminding, and that is who has some awesome, actually, I'm so sorry. Did anyone have anything else they wanted to say to Bennett? I totally sideswiped that. Does anyone have any words of wisdom for Bennett? Okay, just making sure. Whew, sorry about that. Okay, good. So let us get into some creative ways to seed the Anahata codes and or activate them. I think we should start with the one that was posted on Facebook. Oh.
We haven't heard from Katarina yet, Anna.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Are you there?
Yes,
Kaya.
I am.
Okay. Sorry, love.
Yes. Oh, I'm a bit confused by that. Like, what does that mean?
It doesn't mean anything. You know what it means? Here, I'll tell you exactly what it means. I see a screen of like images,
No.
and it gets reshuffled.
You don't have to tell me.
Okay.
You don't have to tell me what it means, but
Okay.
it does something to me, and I will have to take care of that later.
Okay. Sorry.
No.
Okay, so who do you serve, and what is the problem you solve?
Yeah. I used to not want to do this niche defining thing for the longest time, and I didn't come prepared. But entering this group, I wanted to write down medicine for the moment, and it didn't work. I wrote down medicine for the women. And then I looked at it and was like, can't even write what I wanted down. So I like the format of this forum, and I'm really looking forward to maybe more people it resonates with you. So while I was when I entered the group, I noticed that, and then I pulled the last couple of codes to get me over my fucking niche block. That's why I was without the video for a while. Like, so yeah, it is my medicine for the not moment. So my medicine for the moment is the medicine for the women, to help them or to guide them into reconnecting to the sweetness and the force of what it means to be in their authentic feminine power. Whether so for whatever reason, and it doesn't only have to be women, but to balance out how of that we value the masculine aspects in our lives a lot, like productivity and doing and rationality and planning. And I want to remind us, or live as an example, and take whoever wants on that journey to value the feminine aspects in our lives as much. And that can take a bit of going back to why we put it away, why we lost it. So it's about reconnecting to a very powerful part in ourselves that we need in order to have a balanced and complete life, to find our strength. And that lies in silence, darkness, intuition, love, gentleness, softness, and things like that.
I love it. It's interesting.
I see people nodding, so I'm like, instant.
It's super interesting, the dynamics both with you and Janice of using the polarity of masculine and feminine within the medicine that you're birthing, because polarity is going to be really apparent. Just keep this in mind and take it wherever you want to go. When you're looking at what they want, it's going to be because of what they've actually done the opposite of. But that's how you can turn it around into what they want more of. Meaning, when you were talking about productivity, planning, action, what are the reasons why they wanted that? And then make it okay for them to get there another way. I hope that makes sense. Like, if you're gonna, give them permission to be more productive by not being productive. You know what I'm saying? Like, whoa, that's appealing. I've been working so hard my whole life. I've planned and executed.
I know
this.
where you're going.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. I know where you're going, and I see all of these things more as the flowers that stem from a root.
Okay.
And that is okay to go for the two productive women. But what I'm also very interested in is, for example, women who have been through, let's say, sexual abuse or an abusive childhood or whatever, and had therapy and think everything's okay, everything is right, but I'm still suffering, or I'm still not really the one who I am.
Okay.
I went through all the normal therapy. I'm officially not sick anymore, and still my life feels incomplete, or I'm not in my complete power. So to get that back and to live who you really are.
Awesome. So that is a totally different niche than the initial masculine type of productivity planning action that you mentioned, where being authentic feminine power could address that issue. So I think next week is going to be so good for you too, because we've got what we know you have to be this really robust return to divine feminine, to transform and to bring wholeness to the missing spots of your whole life, right? We've got that, but that's too hard to explain on the front end. So you're going to have to decide who you want to work with. And if you want to work with people who have been sexually molested or had childhood abuse, go for it. Be specific, speak straight to them, and they will come. You mentioned the beautiful analogy of a flower versus the roots. We are going for the flower right now. We have to, because then you can get to the roots. We've got to compete with the about 5% attention span that people have at any given moment. And if you aren't literally saying what it is you can do for them, it's not that you don't have talent, but they're going to it's not a priority. It's not a need. So the good news is, within your awesome final wholeness of guiding them to reconnect to their authentic feminine power, that is awesome. I cannot wait. You've got to go for the flowers first to get them to you. So you're almost there. You're like this. And it just comes down to, who do you want to work with, and is there a huge market for it? There is a huge market for people who were abused as children and how they function in the world. Absolutely. And you can build a workshop for them. Do you want to? Do you want to be like that out there? It's totally, these are all just questions to ask yourself over the next week. Who do you
I'm still
serve?
resistant towards going to the flower.
Okay.
There's this, no, the roots. Go away with the flower.
But they won't hear you. You're like the sun. And you can't get inside the root until you reach the flower, right? You can't just go
I'm
straight
not sure
in there.
about that.
In terms of marketing,
But
it's true. It's so true. If you don't speak exactly to who you mean to speak to, they are not going to hear you. Not because you don't have what they need, but because they simply can't physically focus on more than 1 second, especially when they are going to be offering their time. This is the other thing. You know, we say it's a free talk. Why wouldn't people want to show up? It's their time, right? A free talk. One of the huge obstacles that you guys are going to encounter as you start building programs, and I hate to say you will encounter it, but it's pretty much a guarantee, is that people will say they want to join your free talk and then they won't show up. And again, it has nothing to do with you and your medicine and everything to do with their priorities. So we have to get them not only to understand what we have that's of value, but prioritize it enough that they get in the seat. And there's always a price.
Chris is nodding so much. I'm really curious.
What'd you say?
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think we're overlapping. Chris is like nodding all the time. I'm kind of curious whether she has something to say.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So Holly and I share a similar background, which is branding. And so obviously I'm resonating with exactly what Holly's saying, because it's exactly what we do from a business sense, in order to draw people to feel convicted enough to make a decision where you're spending time and money. They have to feel as though that the value that they're getting from whatever you're offering is something so compelling that it would make you show up to something, you'd spend money on it. It's a value with benefits, a value added service, right? So there's, in the marketing world, you have like calls to action, which means you have to resonate with a sentence that hits somebody, I don't mean hit in a bad way, but I mean that presents a positioning to somebody where they're like, oh my gosh, I need that. You're right, I have to have that. And the way to approach them is, and we've heard this again and again in everyone else's kind of presentation, we're all targeting people who've got something that they want to change, right? Otherwise, why are they showing up? I'm fine, I don't need to change anything. But if you've convicted them of the fact that lightly, there's something back here that you might want to do better, or there's another vast universe out there that you can use. Humans just inherently want to continue to move forward. We want to have better, we want to have abundance, we want to have prosperity, we want to have an expansiveness, we want to scale. We want to scale everything about our presence here, because that's why we're here on earth, to learn how to make ourselves and expand the fabric of the universe, getting all woo-woo on it, right? So the whole point about making a statement, you have to hook them in. And not in a negative way. I'm not trying to say it, we're trying to sell you a used car. But we're trying to target people to light and polite. And yet what Holly's saying is so true. You have to target somebody with where it touches the soft spot in their heart. Like, wait a minute. Oh, that might be me. That might be me. Hey, I think I want to learn about that in a positive way. So going for the root, it'll get there, because it's going to resonate with somebody's root no matter what. Because you plant an acorn seed, you get a tree, right? You don't plant an onion and get an oak tree. So whatever the flower is, it will attract people because their root is already there. Mm-hmm. That's enough.
Love that.
Holly, you go on.
Thank you so much. And I'm really glad. I'm sorry I cut you off, Holly, but I felt that there was some value in whatever Chris was about to say. And that was really important for me now. And Mia, I see you waving. I'm excited. And I think now that you said that, I got a bit clearer on that I could tell people or ask people about whether they have an idea of how much more joy and lightness and smoother their life could be if they were actually consciously inhabiting their feminine power.
Yeah.
And touching and even grasping and getting to know that. Mm-hmm. So maybe I'm making peace with that marketing part a bit more.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chris. That was awesome.
I had one other thing I wanted to say to Katya. So much of when I re-listen to our classes, because I replay, your music is so much a part of what you keep talking about. And yet when you started talking about the sweetness of joy, and I was like, oh, that's her music. That's her music. So I'm just continuing to hear again and again that your music is how you're going to, the flower. I mean, I know we're talking all figuratively and symbolically, but there's so much about how you are going to deliver this medicine via your, whatever that connection is between the music and the call to action of, do they want to experience more of the sweetness of the divine feminine and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the reminder.
Oh, goodness. Yes. All right. Thank you. Mia, did you have something you wanted to say too? I think I unmuted you.
Yeah, I'm actually going to come at it from a different angle, Kaja, because, for me, it feels like their emotional body is obviously impacted, through those experiences. And sometimes when their emotional body is so impacted, you come at it through, your solar plexus, and then it's, really attached to your heart. And then obviously it becomes blockages, and then it can infiltrate your physical body itself. And so to me, it feels like the root needs to come a little bit more towards your actual root chakra or within your kundalini. So it almost becomes warrior-like. Mm-hmm. And I think that women, and I love that you approached it with masculine and feminine, because you have to have both of those things to be in the feminine energy. That's your balance of your masculine energy. And so you have to root it, within that warriorism, to almost be able to speak your truth. And I also feel like you have to intermingle it with all senses, because, right now when you're feeling so much through your solar plexus or your heart, you have to feel it in another manner. They have to, through, again, your music, I see the same thing. Through tangibility and through all of those other senses, visualization, and that helps it, it at least alleviate from the impact of your emotional field, and begin to kind of heal the physicality of it too. The senses, the five senses, really is the healing within the physical body. The release is from the emotional body, and then you root it from there.
Wow. While you were speaking, I was just thinking Kaya could do something about using five senses to reconnect to divine feminine, for example, where she walks you through a module and you're doing that, right? You're going through the five senses, you're working with the chakras from the root to the crown and back, involving sight, sound, taste, touch, the whole tactile experience. Now, again, this would be like what you deliver. You'd never go out there and say, does anyone want to come to a free 60-minute talk about how you can activate your chakras and reconnect to divine feminine through the five senses? People would be like, huh? So you want to read it into the bees are hovering, the roots are grounded into the tree, it's all there, it's ready for you to deliver, and they catch a whiff of it. And what is the whiff? What are they going to come check out the nectar of? It has to be very clear, very potent, very specific, and it all just depends on who you want to work with first. But it's exciting. I'm really excited about all of this. And this from, let me remind you all, someone who said, I don't know if I want to have a business last week. Was it last week?
Oh. Okay, guys, this is what I'm going to do, because I don't know whether I want that kind of a business, to be honest.
Okay.
And what really resonated with me, and I'm done in a second, was when Chris said that she thinks that I'm going to deliver that through my music. And I noticed, because it really touches me, and I'm really about to cry. So what I will do, I will make a report with this lady at Indian. of whatever I said, whatever this goal was, to reconnect with that force of being love. I'm going to set attention, I'm to make a recording, and I'm going to that music. And I'm going to I will also replicate, and I will, I don't know, upload somewhere into you or whatever, and proceed.
Well, you're going to be so annoyed, but you've been breaking up the whole time again. It's like every time you get potent with your voice, we can't hear you. It's like we heard all that other stuff that was leading up to what you really had to say, and then it was like, so breathe, just breathe, because there's something going on that's interfering with your ability to get your medicine out. It's what I went through this week. Something's interfering with your ability to get the medicine out. If you have the strength to try and tell us again, do so, but you were breaking up, and I was like trying to hear you. You lost connection right after you said, I don't know if I want to do this for a business, but what I've really learned is.
Am I back?
Yes.
Okay. What I did, can you maybe wave if I'm breaking up again? Okay. I said that whatever is the essence of what I wrote down and what I want to bring into the world, I will, until next week, I will make a recording and I will play music with exactly that intention. And then I will either upload it somewhere or send it to you. Yeah, and that's why I said maybe it's not going to be that online business, me talking to people. Maybe it will be just a CD and whatever, and with the core of that, because maybe I'm resisting towards the flowers, and maybe it's just not the right way. Maybe the right way is to take the root, connect to the root, and play music. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that is totally feasible. You've got to have a strong core, because the outer areas will wither because the sustenance won't be coming in. The bees won't be pollinating right away. And I'm just here to show you the way to get money into your bank account doing what you love first. If you want to go a different route to get there, that's okay. You can get there. You can be a huge success. But unless you follow steps that have been proven to get people to hear you and to sip of your nectar, if you will, then the root has to be super strong, because the outer, you won't see any traction immediately unless you do what the world has already determined to be the way to get your message out, which is marketing, which has a bad rap. I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot of terrible salespeople peddling a lot of terrible stuff. And we've all become accustomed to, oh my God, they're trying to sell me something. I don't want anything to do with that. And so again, it's not that it won't work, but it will take longer, and you've got to have a stronger core without the necessity of having income coming in. Income doesn't matter to you in terms of what you're trying to do. By all means, take as long as you want to get the root, and you will still attract people, right? Absolutely. But if your goal is to make $5,000 a month and quit your job and be sustained, you've got to follow a pattern that is business-like. Otherwise, you'll be making all the mistakes that everyone makes, spinning their wheels and going, why don't people hear me, right? And I don't want that for anyone, because it's super frustrating. So again, two ways about it, and they're both right. It just depends on what your actual intention is in terms of sustenance. Is really what it comes down to.
Yes. I'll work on my blocks towards being seen and heard, and let's see what happens then.
There you go. Awesome. All right. So I'm going to mute you. And you guys, it's so cool that we have 11 minutes left. Oh, and Roberta has her hands raised. Sorry about that, Roberta. I'm going to unmute you now, darling. Okay, go ahead, my love. Hold on. Here we go.
Okay, I think you can hear me now.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention a couple of things that I was thinking while you all were talking, was that you mentioned, Kia, that you really are interested in people's stories, and you have a good story too. And you've also, something that really resonated with me, struck me, was the idea that there's so many of us that have done so much work and yet we don't feel healed. And I feel of music through, and the core of the feminine is creation, right? We create. We create life, we create. So when you create music and you create, you actually find healing and you heal others through your creation. And I think that might be something you could maybe tap into as a source, sharing your story through your music, helping other people find the source of their creativity to find their way to heal, maybe.
Awesome. I totally agree. And, I feel like she can do both, as far as be the businesswoman that she doesn't want to be and be seen in smart ways while she's really nurturing her soul and doing what she's called to do, because she's that talented. And I think that she can get away with it. A lot of people can't get away with that. They've got to really follow this path or it's just not going to work. But I see a lot of creativity, and I experienced a musical shaman journey with Kaya. And boy, I will tell you what, it was transformative. And if she could just get to the point where she could articulate what will occur in a way that people understand what they're going to get without educating them, whew, it's going to be like crack. So, I know you're going to get there. It's a good thing. I'm not crack in a good way, I promise. But thank you, Roberta. I agree. And there's lots of, FYI, there's lots of really great comments in the chat about this. Really great stuff. So let's be sure to read through the chat later, as well as be remembering that we can do so for the group. Because there's a lot of things that maybe you had a thought that you couldn't raise your hand for, that you could just type out real quick, okay? So let's use that as well. Okay, good. So we have like no time left. We have 8 minutes. And so I want to just hear from each of you, if you have a unique way, go like this, if you have a unique way to activate the Anahata codes, either through a seed or a vehicle. Glenda does. And that's it. So maybe we do have time. Awesome. First of all, did it make sense, the 3 ways that I gave you last week to integrate kind of points of contact? Yes? Did that make sense last week? Good. And Glenda just took it, woo, and I love that. So I'm going to unmute her and let her explain that. And I think this is huge because the spoken word is creation. It is spoken. And so that just totally, her trigger word. And so before I let her speak, I want to encourage us to use the technology of hashtag. If we come up with a good way to activate the Anahata codes, let's add activate hack. So hashtag activate hack. And I'm going to write that down. Hashtag activate hack, HACK. And that way, over time, as more people go through this program, if you're ever like, I wonder in what creative ways could I implant the codes, you could just hashtag in the group and search all of the posts, including the one that Glenda posted with her cool imagery. So I'm going to let her do that, but just keep that in mind that we build this growing organic activate hack hashtag, okay? All right, go ahead, my love. Hold on here.
Me. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to be doing the seeding on the front end and the back end, but one way is MP3s that I'll be creating using the frequencies along with some other healing modalities. And then the second one was the, I'm looking at the image here, but it was just a out of the box type thinking of creating my own energetic diffuser. And so instead of essential oils, we're just doing the frequencies. So it's an energetic frequency diffuser. And if you saw the image, you know, intention is everything, right? So that's what I firmly believe. So if I intend it to be so, it will. I did some testing on it because I used it in an interview that I had Tuesday. And my trigger word was code. When I did the testing, my diffuser went off 31 times. Now I haven't gone back and listened to the replay of this interview, but I did some checking afterwards. And I feel the responses that I got from the interview were really good. So there was a lot of comments on the Facebook activity. Seems like people were engaged. They didn't, so maybe my codes and my questions weren't correct because I used the question, so is there an Anahata code assisting frequency for highest good that will help me resonate with the members of the audience that will be in need of my transformational services? And so I got 2 codes. I did the energetic, you know, infusion into the code, and I used paper, you know, based on what Holly did. And, you know, this is all inspired from the one that Holly did for the, I think it was the Earth grid. And so I just imagined the imaginary bubble around the word code because that was my trigger. And then sometimes, you know, you can use your hands or whatever. And then I infused it like a Reiki ball. You know, some of you are familiar with Reiki. I infused the bubble with those 2 codes. And so that with the intent that every time I said the word code, they would diffuse. So I think people did resonate. There was only one package. I sold one package of one of my session packages. I have a lot of questions, and thank you, Janice. And so maybe I will pick some different questions next time, but it was just, you know, it was just really quick out of the box after I heard you speak on our last class. So it'd be interesting.
So two things. I absolutely adore that approach. And in fact, I could see you hosting workshops that people pay you to help them implant these energetic diffusers. Like you could build a whole business around that. And I'm totally serious. Businesses need so much help. And this is a whole new way. I've had visions before of someone that's going to come along and help businesses succeed, right? In the normal dynamic, behind the scenes, not like, hey, HR, come on out. We're all going to do a group hug and talk about Anahata codes. Heck no. I'm talking about just a few people in the business that are going to use these to enhance whatever it is, creativity, purchasing, yada, yada. But a few things that struck me that you may need to be sure you're doing is, one, did you infuse the people who would be listening with the code?
No. I did myself, but forgot the people.
Yeah, so you have to have the intention of infusing the collective who will hear you live and on replay. So make sure that you do that, because then they have the codes, and when you speak the codes, they resonate with it, right?
Yeah, also, I forgot to do that for them.
Also, I think your question said, read your question one more time. Is there an assisting frequency for highest good?
that will help me resonate with the members of the audience that are in need of my transformational services.
Okay, so then you limited it to yourself. You limited yourself automatically to those in the audience. How many people showed up? It could have been 10. I don't know.
Yeah, there was about 200. Yeah.
Oh, there were 200.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She's got like 30,000 people on her Facebook, so I know that there will be others that listen to it. But so in and out, there's so far been probably about 200 views. So you're right. I didn't say the in that case in the live and the replay.
Yeah. And just remember to install it in the collective first, so that they have something to relate with. Who is this?
Debbie Hardy Crystal Healing.
Okay.
Yeah, and the I think Kasha could probably install the use the energetic diffuser, as an idea, if into some of the songs and some of the words in the songs even. Yeah. And I think Leslie mentioned, while people are speaking, you can do it in person, you can do it, online. And intention is everything, in my opinion. So if you say it, it is done.
Absolutely. Well, it's been proven. I know it seems kind of strange, but we're just now developing technology that can decipher all of this as truth. And suddenly people are going, oh my gosh, it's actually real. And it's like, well, duh. But anyway, Katerina and I had a conversation months ago about, how, I think it's initially how we started talking even. She was like, well, can I put it into my voice? And we were talking about the atmosphere. So I just love the word energetic diffuser, because I think it's using keywords that people already understand very well. So I think you could do really, really well with that. If you wanted to ever build workshops, just put that in your back pocket. Kelly, I'm going to unmute you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I just have a quick question. Like, do you think that you could use that energetic diffuser for the written word? If you were going to publish a book, could you do that in the written word for that book? I guess my curiosity is I was trying to picture an idea of how to infuse a book with the Anahata codes.
Yes. Absolutely.
I think you could, because intention is everything, right? And you would just build in your mind. I'm visual, so I have to see it, and then it's there. So you could pick your keywords, and I'm just throwing this out there. You could pick your keywords, and you could infuse a different word with a different code. Now, I was trying to figure out how long the diffuser would work, and so I started going into all my questioning, but testing this and testing that. So you could, but intention is everything.
Yeah. So Kelly, intention is everything, but also remember that the actual word has a heart chakra. The actual word has a torus, because it's been defined, and it is something. It is a thing in this reality. We can see it, we can hear it spoken, we can feel it. It's an entity, if you will, not to get creepy on you. So you absolutely can install it into the vortex of the word. And every time, absolutely. And I love, Glenda, how you were saying, depending on topic, right? Absolutely, you could do chapter by chapter. So this chapter for highest good, what is the code that will assist people in not only understanding this chapter, but utilizing its teachings and or whatever you want to say. I'm actually gonna do this now. Thank you guys. In my book. Totally, absolutely, yeah. So that's really exciting. Thank you, Glenda. Will you go back? I still have to wait until tomorrow evening before I can post even a comment or anything in any group. So if you could go back in and just put hashtag activate hack, Or is there another word that sounds better, guys? Do you think that that's going to stand the test of time here as we grow into a big tribe? When people start giving their hacks for activation, do you think that that's a good hashtag? Let's think on it, because we can decide and we can change it.
I like what Sybil said. She said activate code.
Activate code. Okay. Let me think about that, because code could mean a code, whereas hack just means any advice you have for getting the job done, right? I mean, it may just be we just say hashtag hack for any
How about
like
AC
tips
hack?
we have. What?
AC hack
AC hack.
and Anahata code hack.
Yeah, yeah. Let's think about it. I want it to be easy, but let's just think on it. All right, guys, we are, I can't believe it, but we're 5 minutes over, so we should wrap up. I want to encourage you to really try not to get overwhelmed next week, because I'm just going to let you know, when we dive into the logistics, right? Okay, we've got this awesome thing that is our business, and we know it's where we want to go, and we're over here. When I start layering in how to get there, it may feel like a huge mountain to climb, okay? You may go, holy crap, I've got to do this and that and this and that. You don't have to do anything, okay? This is all divine timing. This is all precisely as you need to have happen for this moment in time. And just take it as it comes and realize that I'm just giving you the path. You can sprint or you can just meander around. Either way, you're going to get there. And to just really take it in stride. And to perhaps infuse the reshaded jasper, Star of Bethlehem into water to drink before the presentation, because I'm going to be throwing a ton of stuff at you. And you may just go, oh, I'm frozen. I can't do anything because it's just too much. I don't want that, okay? So I'm just preparing you in advance, because this is called, what is it called? Something your program. Flesh out your program, or I can't remember, I'm sorry. The point is, I could teach 6 months on this next phase. Literally, I could do a whole 6-month program on what I'm about to teach you in 2 hours. So keep that in mind, and just be aware that this is going to happen naturally. As you expand into knowing how to get there, it's going to appear a lot farther than it need be, okay? Do we have an agreement that you're gonna hang in there, it's gonna be okay? Yeah? Okay. All right, guys, I love you all, and we will just keep on walking, keep on going together. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here today. I love you all. I'm so glad my voice made it through and now it can rest. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.